Let me read to you a passage from the 21st chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, verses 5 to 19. It's the Gospel for Sunday of the 33rd week in Ordinary Time, Year C. And in it we hear something of the meaning of human history. St. Luke writes, "While some people were speaking about how the temple was adorned with costly stones and votive offerings, Jesus said, 'All that you see here, the days will come when there will be not left a stone upon another that will not be thrown down.' Then they asked him, 'Teacher, when will this happen? And what sign will there be when all these things are about to happen?' He answered, 'See that you are not deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and the time has come. Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and insurrections, do not be terrified, for such things must happen first, but it will not immediately be the end.' Then he said to them, 'Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be powerful earthquakes, famines, and plagues from place to place, and awesome sights and mighty signs will come from the sky. Before all this happens, however, they will seize and persecute you. They will hand you over to the synagogues and to prisons, and they will have you led before kings and governors because of my name. It will lead to your giving testimony. Remember, you are not to prepare your defense beforehand, for I myself shall give you a wisdom in speaking, that all your adversaries will be powerless to resist or refute. You will even be handed over by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will put some of you to death. You will be hated by all because of my name, but not a hair of your head will be destroyed. By your perseverance, you will secure your lives." That's from Luke chapter 21, verses 5 to 19. And what does it suggest to us? Well, I remember attending a talk given many years ago by the chief editor of a leading Sydney newspaper. And he made the remark that the commodity that newspapers sell is the news. News is interesting, it excites and fills people's minds, and so is worthy of purchase. As we think of the news of nations warring or in difficulties, and most of the news is about difficulties and causes of anxiety, we are led to think of the course of history. Nations rise and have their span of influence, and then gradually or suddenly decline. There are achievements and failures, joys and sorrows, wars and times of relative peace. A person who takes an interest in the course of history may well ask himself, what is the meaning of it? What is basically happening in history, and is there a pattern? Is the course of history pointing to anything that can be prepared for? What is happening in our world now, and where is it heading? These are some of the questions that can occur to a person who is observing the history and the affairs of men. I would suggest that it is very difficult to answer these questions just from ordinary rational reflection. And in any case, the best way to view the course of history is to determine first the fundamental vantage point to be adopted. If you want to gain a good view of things, you select a very good vantage point. You go up a particular hill or mountain and take your stand from there, and from that perspective you look at the terrain. So too in human affairs. Now, our best vantage point is that of God and his revelation, which is to say, that of Christ. How did Christ view human history? Our Gospel passage today suggests to us something of his divine vantage point. Many of the great and beautiful things made by human hands, worthy as they are, will not last. The temple may be taken as an instance of this. We read, "While some people were speaking about how the temple was adorned with costly stones and votive offerings, Jesus said, 'All that you see here, the days will come when there will not be left a stone upon another stone that will not be thrown down.'" What then is the enduring thing in human history? It is Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the one on whom each of us can base our lives with utter certainty and security. And he is the hope of the world, not this or that power, country, or theory. It is he to whom we ought to bear witness, and to whom we ought dedicate our best energies with full love and loyalty. We read, "Then they asked him, 'Teacher, when will this happen? And what sign will there be when all these things are about to happen?' He answered, 'See that you are not deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and the time has come. Do not follow them.'" Christ is worth living for, suffering for, dying for. It is to him that we ought bear witness, and the effects of that witness will be truly enduring. If we want to spend our lives in ways that have enduring value, then it is for Christ that we should spend them. No matter what it may cost, it will be worth it. In respect to this, our Lord goes on to say, "I myself shall give you a wisdom in speaking, that all your adversaries will be powerless to resist or refute. You will even be handed over by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will put some of you to death. You will be hated by all because of my name, but not a hair of your head will be destroyed. By your perseverance you will secure your lives." The centerpiece of human history is the person of Jesus Christ, and the purpose of human history is that he be accepted as the Lord. This is the meaning of human history, and the more the nations ignore or refuse the lordship of Jesus Christ, then the more does history sink into futility and meaninglessness. The more Jesus Christ is acclaimed as Lord, the more does human history and the concourse of mankind attain its true end. It is to this that Christ's faithful must every day bear witness by word and deed, by holy lives lived out in loving acknowledgement that Christ is the Lord, and that his teaching is the guide of all human life. There is one great future event that is coming. That is the one thing we do know amid all the uncertainties of human history. It is that Christ will come again. He will come again to us individually at our death, and he will come again at the very end of human history to judge the living and the dead. We, each of us, and all of us together, are called so to live as to be ready for his coming. Let us make sure that every day counts in this waiting. We must make sure that when the Master comes, he finds us waiting and ready.